As I fall down in the rabbit hole, getting red pill and understanding the gender dynamics between men and women, and learning much more about sexuality, human sexuality, and what we're biologically programmed to do, I started to somewhat become a little depressed about being a man and a little bit envious about women and about their, safety net. And I know it sounds very weird. Like, I know me saying that sounds very weird, but hear me out, guys. There was a statistic that I read about human sexuality, and it says that before the modern era, only 80% of women managed to reproduce, and only 40% of men did. Let me repeat that statistic again. Before the modern era, before, technology was advancing and humanity was progressing, which is around the 1900s, 80% of women managed to reproduce and only 40% of men did. Now, let that sink in. You know what that tells me? That tells me that women in general, they're basically they're basically safe to be more, to say it in a simple term, they're basically safe. Us men, we're not safe. We're always constantly in danger, constantly fighting. And why, we in this constant state of struggle is because I was learning another subject that ties into this, and it's called male disposability. Now, this was the biggest and blackest pill to swallow, and eventually I started to accept it. That us men were disposable no matter what, no matter how much we try to make ourselves, you know, to safeguard ourselves. We can be successful. That's for sure. Like I said, 40% of men managed to reproduce before the modern era, so there is that chance. The point I'm getting at here is that your chances, because I always see life as a percentage game, your chances is low to start off with as a man. If you're a woman, your chances is very high. The only way you could screw up as a woman is you do something severely stupid and continue to do stupid. And, eventually it gets you either killed or worse. Same thing as a man, but like I said, you start off very low as a man. And the reason why is because, back to the subject, male disposability. And this is the biggest pill to swallow. At the same time, the MGTOW community, the red pill community, the black pill community, they all talk about this. They all talk about male disposability, and it's it's a very tragic thing to understand. But at the same time, I understand why that um, that reality kind of exists. Us men were meant to be disposable to ensure the survival of our species. Because at the end of the day, women, they're valuable in order to survive. Yeah, in order to ensure the survival of the species. And that's what I mean when I say women are valuable. To give you a good example of this, there was a British cartoon show. It's based on a book, but they made it into a cartoon show or a cartoon movie. It's a little bit disturbing because technically it's a kids show, but it shows some violence and a little bit of blood here and there. And it's called Watership Down. Watership Down is about a group of bunnies trying to survive and going through, I think, a farm area or some place to be safe. And in the story, their only female got killed by a hawk. And when the group of bunnies realized they lost their only female, they started to look for other female bunnies. And when they saw them trapped in a cage, they tried to liberate them. Now, why these bunnies did that? Why these bunnies are risking themselves to, you know, to get females? Like I said, in human terms, the females will always be valuable, and it's to ensure, the survival of the species. Same thing in the story of Watership Down. The male bunnies, they were essentially risking their own lives just to get a female bunny in their group, and hopefully they could, procreate, reproduce, and ensure the survival of their, group. And Watership Down was a perfect example of that. So that's a recommendation to look at. And the reason why I'm making this video is because, as I stated earlier, the male disposability is the biggest and blackest pill to swallow, and eventually, I'm starting to accept it. I'm starting to accept the chances, you know, the ever increasing chances of me being a loner, being a guy without a wife, without a significant other, basically being a lone knight, just like this picture you see right here. But if I'm gonna be a lone knight, a lone, a loner, then I might as well do something about it. Like, I instead of focusing on me being alone, I should focus what I should do next. And what I mean by that, I mean what would be my mission, what would be my purpose, what I'm gonna do. Because one thing I had to think, the MGTOW community and the Red Pill community, is that almost every inspiration messages that those communities were giving off to, and so is you could say, the masculine community. They were telling, some of the inspiration quotes, they always say this: don't focus on people, focus on your work, focus on your purpose. And I honestly take that message to heart, because whenever I do a good job, whenever I achieve something impactful, meaningful, such as getting a diploma, getting a higher paid job, getting a promotion, I feel immensely good about myself. Hell, recently I've been hitting the gym, and I also feel good about myself. I noticed that I become more stronger than before, like physically stronger. There are some heavy stuff that I struggle to lift up, but now I could lift them up with ease. So yeah, I'm gonna have to like keep doing stuff, keep working, keep focusing on my purpose. That's what I'm gonna focus on as a lone knight, as a disposable male. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. One thing that I was reading, the sexuality between females and male, is that the Buddhism, uh, they also made charts between male and female, and they were pretty good charts. They used the yin yang symbol as an example, the yang being male and the yin being female. In the yang, it says that the yang is male, and they're supposed to be active, they're supposed to be constantly doing something. The yin is female, but they're supposed to be passive. They're passively, doing stuff. And the MGTOW community and the Red Pill community, they always mention that women are human beings, but men are human doing. So our value as men, we constantly have to do something fantastic, achieve, we could achieve higher status by simply being better, or should I say doing better. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here, guys, because I feel like I ranted too long. But understand, guys, that it's okay if you're gonna be if you realize that you're gonna be a loner. As I stated before, this was the blackest pill I swallowed, but eventually I accepted it. I accepted that possibility. Well, guys, see ya, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.